Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. Thank you for joining today's session. We are going to be discussing something that is very dear to me, and that is visibility. And I say it's dear to me because I realize that, most people don't take advantage of creating visibility for themselves. They just, take it for granted, hoping that somewhat they'll be visible, somewhat people are going to see the good work that you do and just throw the promotion at you. But it actually doesn't work that way. The way it works is that you have to be intentional about creating your visibility. And I'm going to try as much as possible to be practical and show you, some of the things that you need to do, pay attention to, when it comes to stepping out of obscurity and making yourself visible. Because if you are not visible, you're not going to get, some opportunities like there's an ad hoc assignment in your office, they need somebody to do it, or there's a very high profile assignment, they need somebody to do it, or it could just be, oh, there is a volunteering, we need somebody to maybe organize something. It might not even be official, it might not be, that formal, but it's only people that they remember that they give these opportunities to. And as women, unlike men, we are not very deliberate in how we create our own visibility. If you notice in your office, the guys, they are very free with how they network, with how they build relationships across the board. It starts with talking about soccer, then it goes to talking about the economy, and then the boss has something to do. He remembers the people that talk to him outside of work because he's been able to form a bond. He's been able to know them. He's been able to know their capabilities. And really, when you talk about promotion, talk about opportunities, people give it to people that are their friends. So if you are not deliberate with making sure that you're building your relationships, you are making yourself visible, all right, you actually might be, overlooked. You might be doing a good job, and you know what I've discovered? The world is not for the best talented. The world is for people that show up. And so if you are truly going to show up, then you have to make sure that you're intentionally building your visibility. So we've prayed. I'll go into the presentation. This training is we are going to divide it into two parts. It's not something that, I can cover in 30 minutes. So I'm going to break it into two parts. And then our next session, we are going to talk about, visibility, part 2. So let's start with the part 1. First of all, we start from the scriptures. Everything that we are doing in this mentorship program is focused on the scriptures. And I'm happy to inform you, in case you did not know, that you were created to be visible. The Bible defines you, one of your purpose. Remember, we talked about purpose in our first webinar series. One of your purpose is to be salt and to be light. And so if you understand what light is, I'm sure we all use light. You don't take your lamp and put it under a table. I've never seen anybody say, oh, PHCN just took lights, let me light this candle. And then you light the candle and then you put it under the table to be hidden. No. Light is put in a strategic place where it can light up the whole room, when everybody can appreciate the light. And that's the expectation of God for you, that you should be light that everybody sees. And you have to be comfortable with being light, with being seen. There's nothing humble about, oh, I don't want them to know me. I just want to be in the background. I don't want anybody to know my name. Let me do all the work in the background. Let somebody take all the credits. Guy, you are not fulfilling your destiny if that is your mindset. And the essence of this presentation today, this facilitation today, is for us to change how we think about visibility. So if you think about visibility as I am being visible to glorify God, anytime I am not visible, either in my workplace, in my community, in my church, in my society, whatever, I am not glorifying God, because people should look at you and say, wow, we want to be like this person. We want to go to this, do all the routines this person does. That's your essence. Now, look at, if you don't believe that one about salt and light, look at the blessing that God placed on Abraham. Look at this blessing. Just take a minute to just read this scripture, and it says, follow me and I will make you into a great nation. I will exceedingly bless and prosper you, and I will make you famous. So the one I want to hammer on today is the fame, because all of us, we look at, oh, Father Abraham's blessings are mine, and in that our mind we are only thinking of wealth. With that wealth comes fame. So you should be comfortable with being famous. You should be comfortable with going somewhere and people recognize you and they want to help you to get things done. It's part of the covenant that you have, and you can only work in that covenant if you are aware that it is part of God's will for you. God did not create you to be somebody that is hidden somewhere and nobody knows you. Nobody can feel your impact, because if they say something is salt and light, as small as salt is, if you don't add salt to food, you all know that it's going to be tasteless and nobody will want to take the food. And that's how powerful you can be. So being visible is what? Biblical. So all these ideas of I'm an introvert, I don't like to talk. See, I'm the #1 introvert, but today is not the day to dwell on my introversion. But today is the day to say whether you are a created introvert or whether you believe you are an introvert, or whether you think you are extroverted, or whatever you think you are. Let us just park that aside and let's say, for this job that we have, for this career that we are building, what kind of persona do we need to build? Because basically, that's what it is. You have to create the persona for yourself that would make you to get the things that you want to get. Visibility, promotion, opportunities that are not relevant to your grades, that are beyond you. Those are the things that we want to get. And now that's why we are talking about what do we need to do strategically, intentionally, to make sure that we get those things. All this idea of my work will speak for me. Sorry, ma, your work cannot talk. You, the doer of the work, is the one that needs to talk about what you do. Those ideas that, oh, my boss knows that I'm the one that does all the work, I should be seen, or what they used to tell you, that women should be seen and not heard. Anyway, stay there. When they use bread to pack your stew, you will know that this is not a matter of keeping quiet, is a matter of strategically blowing your trumpet. So don't just sit down there and just let people be ripping you of things that belong to you. All they say, I don't need to get the credits for the achievements, I just want to stay in the background. Is the enemy, is people in your village that are using stuff to rip you of the things that belong to you. All this idea of, I don't need to market myself, I just want to be humble, I don't want them to think I'm bragging, I'm proud. Anybody can think whatever they like, as long as you are doing things, the proper way. So what am I saying? You have to see yourself as a personal brand. I'm sure some of us, we know some famous brands, of products, the Coca-Cola brand, the Apple brand, some of these brands, and you know what they deliberately do. Even despite the fact that they don't seem to have a perfect substitute or a perfect competition, they still invest time in building that brand. So what am I saying to you? In this, our training on visibility, we are going to be looking at visibility from two angles: your personal brand and your work behavior. Those are the two things that actually create your visibility. However, we are not going to do work behavior today. We are going to do work behavior in our next session. But today I'm going to focus on personal branding. And honestly, if you are able to, take this thing seriously, you would be, grateful for it, because honestly, so many people, just check your workplace. You see, they work very hard They are the smartest, but they don't get the opportunities. And the reason why they don't get the opportunities is because nobody is seeing them. And if you think that, I mean, I don't have to do the work, they should see me. You're on your own, or you're being naive. So you have to be very strategic. So let me be, as I'm talking now, I'll be giving you some examples. We all know, I won't mention it because I don't want to do free publicity for any organization, but we all know that I recently got promoted, and you see some organizations, saying congratulations to me. If you think it's by accident, you're on your own. No. It is an intentional act to say, oh, I just got this, I need you to announce it for me. You have to be deliberate. If you think I'm vain, at least now you know that as I'm vain, I also pray. But what I shall know is that God will not do for you what the things you need to do for yourself. Now, if you look at this picture on these pictures on the screen, I'm sure there are some people there you can recognize. If you close your eyes, and there will be something that comes to you when you see these people. You look at Elon Musk, there's something that will come to your mind. Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama. If you close your eyes or you hear their names, there's something that comes to your mind. That thing that comes to your mind is their personal brand. And what is that personal brand? It is, how do people describe you when you leave the room? What do they say about you? If you don't know what people will say about you when you leave the room, then it means that you have not been deliberate in creating your brand. I put myself here because me too, I'm a global inspiration. I'm also a global figure. All right. And I'm deliberate in building that my brand into being known, as a global person. So, and I put you two there. You two, put your picture here. If you get the slides, put your picture there and say, what will people say about me when I'm no longer in the room? What are they going to say about me? Okay, so this personal brand thing is very important. Like, is in fact very, very important, because if you are working and you are not building your brand, you are wasting your time. And if you think you are building a brand without the substance of doing the work, you're also wasting your time. What am I trying to tell you? The two have to go hand in hand. Now, the personal brand is that if you don't deliberately build it, people will help, they will brand you. And the way they will brand you, not like the brand they will build for you. So every time you have contact with people, all right? Now, when I say people, I'm not just limiting it to your work. I'm limiting it to everything that you do, because sustainable brands are brands that are authentic. Authentic meaning that in and out of season, they are just consistent. So imagine the impression people have about me online. Oh, Olayinka, online, I believe I have an image that is warm. And then they meet me offline. Let's assume they'll just run into me in a supermarket. And, I just behave anyhow. I would have created an impression on that person that this person is not authentic. All these things are just online things. But you, as you are building your brand, you have to make sure that you are considerate of the impressions you are making, on people. So every time people make contact with you, you are actually creating an impression on them if you don't know. Now, the thing is that sometimes the impression you want to make and their perceptions of you may not coincide, may not be the same. So I can think that, oh, Olayinka, in my mind, I can think I'm very warm. And somebody meets me and says, nah, she's in warm. I greeted her, I didn't like the way she responded. All right. Even though I can't control the person's perception about me, but as much as possible, I have to be very deliberate with the kind of impressions I make on people. So yesterday I was at an event, or 2 days ago, and my colleague sat beside me, and someone walked up to me to say hello. And I greeted the person so warmly, you think like I know the person's name. After the person left, I said, I actually cannot remember this person, but because this person has greeted me, I don't have to give that person that impression that I don't even know you. I can't remember you. I have to be as warm as I can be. That also relates to you. Every time people reach out to you, contact you, your boss contacts you, your colleagues reach out to you for something, or your client is talking to you, in your mind, you should be asking yourself, am I sending the right message? Am I deliberate with my brand? And am I leveraging my brand to make success? If you are not affirmative with this, then you are robbing yourself off. Now, what is this personal brand that we are talking about? So I just don't want to take it for granted that everybody knows what a personal brand is or what a brand is. A personal brand is a communication tool. Basically, that's what it is. Your brand is a communication tool and is a tool that you use to express yourself, to discuss or to communicate your skills, your experience, your values, your attitude, your personality, just to you, just your outlook of life. That's just what your personal brand is. And the only way people can actually get your personal brand is when you are consistent with the signals that you are giving out, the kind of impressions that you are making, all right, about who you are. So this personal brand is a marketing tool. There's nothing more. You are using this brand to market yourself. Let me tell you, every time you go to the office, see yourself as a product in that office. You, Bola, you are product A. BC, you are product B. Shola, you are product C. And all of you in that marketplace, so people are saying, should I buy product A? Or should I buy product B? Or should I take on product C? That's what personal branding is. So personal branding is then I am saying I am product A, please pick me. So that pick me is, why should I pick you? You have to be able to communicate why you are different. That's it. If you don't know why you are different, it will be difficult for you to know how to market what you have. And that's why if you see any good marketer, a good marketer is somebody that is able to actually, make you buy something that you don't need. Why? Because they tell you everything about the product and what it can do for you. So that personal brand that we are talking about, forget the jargon or the esoteric word. What is essentially saying is, how do you communicate your wow factor? From our purpose, the first webinar series we had, we all know everybody has a wow factor. That wow factor is the problem that you are created to solve that nobody else can solve. So the art of managing and marketing that your wow factor, communicating it, not taking your wow factor and hiding it. That wow factor could just be that you're a very good organizer, or it could be that you find it easy to build or to connect with people. Or it could be that, you're a fantastic communicator. That could be your wow factor. And not everybody has it. So you have the responsibility of finding out that wow factor. Like I said, this personal brand is the unseen controlling the seen. It's that powerful. Many people have lost out on opportunities because they were not just intentional. As you are building your skills, financial skills, investing skills, whatever skills you are building, you also have to be deliberate in making sure that you are building your personal brand. So like I mentioned, you are a product in the marketplace. So the moment you start seeing yourself as a brand, the quicker your mindset changes. So look, the way I see it is this. When I was early on in my career, anytime I send a report to someone, I see that report as my reputation following that report. My reputation, like the name Olayinka is following that report. That name Olayinka, I don't joke with it. I don't want my name to be associated with some poor quality reports or laziness or all those kind of things. I don't want my name to be. So anytime if I'm sending something to someone that, you asked me to do this thing, I've done it, just know that I would have put in my best. And when the person sees, they will know that at least, even if I don't get it 100%, because it's unlikely I'll get it 100%, but the person will see the effort and know that yes, this person actually did her best. So the moment you start seeing your name and seeing yourself as a brand, you won't do things anyhow. People that cherish their brand don't do things anyhow. So your responsibility is you have to find ways to sell yourself as much as you can. Every time you go to the office, your duty, let me tell you, it's not that you are just, oh, they said I should do this, I'm doing it, or they said I should do that, I'm doing that. What you are doing is that you are actually telling them, why me? Why should you pick me? Why should you give me this opportunity to train abroad? Why should you give me this high profile job to work on? Why should I be the one to promote? Every day, you must make sure that you give them a why me to say, thank God we hired this lady. Thank God this lady is on our team. If you're not doing that, you're shortchanging yourself. So you have to be very strategic. You have to be creative, and you have to be professional in how you communicate your why me. I'm not saying, there are some people that have dirty behaviors of trample on other people to rise, or taking other people's glory to rise. No, that's not what we are saying. We are saying that you being the value added that nobody can deny, and you communicating those values. So for example, when you finish a project as a manager, for example, there are ways in which you can communicate the achievements on that project. What can you do? Can you still hear me? Am I still audible?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you. There are, strategic ways you can communicate the achievements on that project. What can you do? You don't have to go to your boss and say, hey, Mike. Sorry, my non-Yoruba speaking people, but that's our language, first language. Hey, Mike means me. I finished that project. I did it in 1 day. Tell me who else can beat my records. That's bragging, and that's not being strategic. That way they'll think they'll be branding you as arrogant. But a better way would be to write a mail to your team, complimenting them and commending them for finishing the project in 1 day, and then copying your boss and thanking him for giving you the opportunity. That way you've not said anything, but you have documented your achievements. I have a list. I have an Excel on my laptop. Every time I do something, I document it. Any achievements that I think, oh, this is outstanding, I document it, so that when they are praising me, what have you achieved? Because in my place of work, we actually even appraise ourselves anyway first. I would document all those things that I have done, because I will not assume that somebody else will take responsibility of helping me to build my brand. I'm going to document everything. So what are we saying? It is, you can have the content too, but if you don't have the packaging, you'll be shortchanging yourself. So you are managing and you are marketing impressions, content, and container. And I will explain what I mean by content and container. The container is your outlook. So like I mentioned before, until you know what differentiates you, you cannot market it. So your duty is to go and find out, why me? What is unique about me? What do I have that will make me, stand out from the crowd? What do I have that people would say, there is something actually about this person, and this is why we should give this person this opportunity? You have the responsibility of finding out that thing. So when I talk about branding, personal branding, I look at it from 5 elements, 5 important elements. There is no personal brand that will not have these 5 key elements. And like I said, that brand, you are the brand. Brand you is about your magic. If you have the magic, you are not talking about it, then you are going to be shortchanging yourself. So what is the first element of your brand? The first thing is your purpose. Purpose. We've talked about purpose. And that purpose is not just, to have purpose for purpose sake. Is to have purpose to solve a problem. There must be a problem that you are solving, okay? And there must be impact that you are making in people. So whether it is at work or in your community or whatever, that purpose is the first thing about your brand. You must be clear of what your purpose is. What is my purpose statement? What is my purpose? You must be clear. All right. Then the second thing is your value. What value are you bringing on board? If you have purpose and you're not, you're not making job easier for your bosses, you're not adding value to the organization, there's nothing, we can't say you're an expert in something, we can't see your skills, then you're not building a brand. It won't be sustainable. So this personal branding thing is not eye service. So, people know people that are not authentic, that they are just, ass licking all over the place. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people with substance. You have value and you are communicating that value. You are the expert in not everything, but there are things that we can say, oh, this person, if it's Excel you want to do, this is the person to go to. If it's PowerPoint presentation, the finest PowerPoint presentation is this person. There must be something that they can say, this is what this person can do. Then number 3 element, all right, we look at image. So think about it. No matter how whatever you think, whether you agree with me or not, when you meet people, what they see first is how you look before they hear what you have to say. So if you have the brightest mind, but you are not looking the part, you are shortchanging your personal brand. So the way you are buying books, reading books, you are reading nice girls still don't sit in the corner office. You also have to buy clothes that make you look like you are not a nice girl, so to speak. You understand what I mean? You also have to look that part. Everything is about image. How do you look? My philosophy is this. You see the way a farmer needs a tractor to farm on his large hectares of land. He needs a tractor. That's the same way your clothing is to you. It's a work tool. Don't think that you can just appear to the office looking tattered. We don't even know the color of your wig again, whether it's still wine or it's turned to blonde. Everything is just all over the place. They won't take you serious. So you have to start building up your wardrobe for the CEO role that you are looking for. Let me tell you, immediately they told me that I'm being considered for my new role, I started saving to buy suits from a particular vendor just so that I can look the part. The first time I wore the suit, even me, I knew that, CEO role has landed. First of all, the way you look even helps your confidence. When I go for meetings, some people come to talk to me because of my suit. Shebi is relationship we want to build. The relationship does not have to start with, okay, so can you give me the 5 shortcuts on Excel? No. The relationship can start with, wow, you look so great. Where do you get your suit from? That's it. So looking that part is something that we all have to pay attention to. Let me tell you, I've sat, before I even got to my present employer, they'll be assessing people for promotions and they'll be saying, he's good, but let me tell you that, nobody just wants to voice it out, is that the person does not look the part. He doesn't dress well. His shirts are never white. He doesn't wear the right ties, or he's wearing rubber sole shoes. That's the that we cannot take this person out for a meeting and not be disgraced. Like, don't they pay you well in your office? And it's not just about how much you earn. It's just the class of and how you pay attention to your grooming. Please look nice, smell nice, be well groomed. It's part of the package, because personal branding is you're packaging yourself. Next, attitude. You see, good technical skills with bad attitude is bad news. Personally, as a leader, I would rather hire somebody I can train that has good attitude than somebody that has bad attitude and has the technical skills. What I look for first is your character. You know, how empathetic are you? How do you treat your colleagues? How do you talk to people? How do you relate? Are you a team player, or are you looking at bringing somebody down? How are you building your soft skills? How are you communicating? How are you leading? You see, what we call leadership. Leadership is not that they give you title. Do you know you can be an associate and be leading your boss? Leading your boss. You know what leading your boss means? Is influencing the person. Why would you be able to influence somebody at such a high level when you are down there? It's because of your attitude, the way you think, the way you solve problems, the way you take ownership. That's it. That's what people are looking for. Values. You must stand for something. People must know what you stand for. I'm sure I've heard it before from my team, and I know, even if you don't tell me, even me, I know that you are my best friend if you do my work the way it should be done. Like if you do your work the way it should be done, we'll be the best of friends. But if you don't, you'll be wondering that is it that Olayinka? All right. People must know what you stand for. You must have values. All right. We must be able to define your ethics, because if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. This moral value should be your compass. Is it honesty? Is it integrity? Is it hard work? What is it? What are your values? We must know it. And it's not that knowing it by telling us. So when they hire you, they say, I'm a woman of integrity. No, you don't need to come and be telling us you're a woman of integrity. Show us. When temptations come and you need to do something, just show us that yes, indeed you have integrity. So how do we build our personal brand? What are some of the helpful tips that will help us, to build this brand? I've mentioned number one, your brand must be solving a problem. You must be adding value to your organization. Number two, you must use comfortable media. You see, today, people, I just look at some people that are influencers, and some of us here, we are like, let's say times 1,000 times more intelligent. But you know why they don't know you? That they don't even know you exist. It's because you refuse to show up. Some of us, our LinkedIn accounts, you've not even posted good morning. I'm here. You've never say, you should just wake up one day and just say, okay, I'm happy today. Or let me even say a post, good morning, my LinkedIn family. You've not done it before. Instead, you still be abusing the people that are posting that everybody is always coming to post their achievement. It's their failure they should post. Some people will say, you're always coming here to share your personal story. Sorry, is it your story? Post your own now. You understand what I'm saying? You have to find content that relates to you and make sure that you're posting consistently. In the last over 7 years, I've been posting weekly on LinkedIn. If I've missed it, I'll say maybe 5% of the time, and mostly maybe there were public holidays or something. You have to wake up and do it. I wake up, I know the day that I must post, I know the time I must post. You just have to make commitment to doing it. Some of us, you go for training, you go for conferences, you just keep quiet. You see people that went there post, and you, in your mind, they're like, and I was there. Please, what is stopping you from posting? You went for a training, post, I was at this training, these are the things I learned, it was nice meeting this person. That's it. Because let me tell you, your digital footprint is now becoming very important. Whenever they want to talk to you or they want to relate to you or they hear your name, the first thing is they go online and see, who is this person? And if you don't have, okay, let's say you say you're a medical doctor, no thesis, no nothing, they'll even think you're a fake doctor. Do you understand? So essentially, what am I saying? use media that is comfortable for you. Because we are focused more on our career, we should be looking at LinkedIn. You shouldn't be just silent on LinkedIn. If you know how much benefit being visible is to me, a lot of recruiters reach out to me and say, we are looking for this person. Or no, they won't even first of all start by saying we are looking for this person. They will say, we have this opportunity. Are you interested? If I say no, they'll say, please help us find someone. Why do they say that? It's because they can see me. You probably even have maybe 10 certificates. I have only 3. But they don't know you now. Your own is under the pillow somewhere, hiding it in the name of I'm humble. So you have to be deliberate. And in creating your content, you have to have focus. All right, you have to have focus and find out what truly makes me memorable. Please pardon me, I'm spending more time than necessary. I mean, not necessary. I'm spending more time than usual because this topic is big. I try to shrink it, but so that you can understand and you can hear, you permit me to do 45 minutes today. Now, let me give you an example. You guys won't know that when I started C.L.E.A.N, I started writing as a manager, and a lot of people will abuse me, discourage me to say, oh, why are you sharing your personal story? Why can't you talk about what you do? Why can't you talk about what you do as a consultant? Why is it I got pregnant, I gave birth, my leg that you gave birth, you should not have given birth, those kind of things. And a lot of people discourage me from actually stopping it. But I know why I started it. I didn't start it because I woke up one day and I wanted to. I started it on God's instruction. And in my mind, I weighed it. I said, okay, am I going to stop this thing to satisfy men's expectation? Or am I going to continue doing this because I'm just vulnerable based on God's instruction? And I said, no, God before men. Many years later, I sat at an interview day before yesterday, and the interviewee, after the interview, do you have any question? She said, no, I don't have any question. I just want to appreciate Olayinka. I know I follow her on LinkedIn. I've been following her for many years. When I started my CFA, I almost gave up. Well, when I read her story, I decided to forge ahead, and today I'm a CFA charter holder. My bosses were there. My bosses have been in meetings with me. Let's say we go for conferences and people walk up to say, "Hi, Olayinka, nice. Thank you so much for all that you do." Blah, blah, blah. Even though that is not what they've hired me to do, you think they too will not be feeling happy that, at least thank God we have somebody, people know on our team. So what am I saying? You must have a focus. You must be memorable. So if, for example, you get into a room, they say, introduce yourself. Not just say, I'm Olayinka, I'm female. Give us a story because everybody has a story. Create your story to articulate who you are, to articulate, what makes you different, because basically that's what that personal branding is about. You must be able to share your story, create a story around your brand. You are here listening to me today because there's something that has made me memorable to you. I can't lie. There's something that when you hear my name, something jumps out at you. That's my personal brand. And so when I build that personal brand on what has made me unique, when I tell you to say, oh, this is what I do, you'll be more interested. Why? Because you have been able to connect to me as who I am. Authenticity, you can't buy it, you can't fake it. There are some people that if you go, I've seen somebody's LinkedIn profile before, and he's not a veterinary doctor. The picture that was there was a picture of his dog on LinkedIn. Yes, I'm not joking. In fact, the reason how I got to know was that I made a post and it was saying my post wasn't professional. What is our business with your personal story? And people told him, they said, you that you're saying what's your business? You have a dog as your DP. Come on. You are less professional. So what am I saying? Some of us, you don't have portrait pictures. Do you know that up until, for 4 years consecutively, up until say last year, because I've started again, I used to have photo shoots. There's a particular day that I'll set up as photo shoots, and I will get my hairstylist, get my makeup artist, get my photographer, and my children will be like, Mommy, why do you like stressing yourself? I say, don't worry, let me stress myself. Me, I know it's my personal brand I'm doing. You can't see any image of me and it's just, uncoordinated. Some of yours, you don't have professional portraits on your LinkedIn. You use selfie, you did like this on LinkedIn. Tell me, how will they on earth take you serious? Nobody will take. In fact, when I go to people's profile, I first of all click your picture. If I don't see a professionally done picture, I know that this one is still playing. So these things are intentional. Intentional. I'm as intentional as if I know that, okay, because, I write based on inspiration. I remember something I write. When I'm doing my photo shoot, if I say I want a price, you will see price beside me. I will post with price. So everything in life is intentional. You can't just be living carelessly and think that, okay, the people that are deliberately building their profile, the benefits they get, you will get it. So as I continue, all right, the assignment we have today is that everybody has to write what differentiates them and place it on your vision board so that you don't forget. And then you will now write how you want to market it and also place it on your vision board. If you don't know what makes you different, ask people that are close to you. Ask your colleagues, ask your supervisors, ask whoever. You can even ask your children. Now, please, what do you think makes me a special mommy? That thing they tell you, maybe they say, oh, mommy, you're very organized. That's your wow factor. And you have to find a way of, selling it and making value from it. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I hope this was useful for you.